Okay, you guys. Good morning. You guys are reading the title correctly. Um, I'm gonna say something that may come off as controversial. Um, you ladies can take this as you choose. Um, Ladies, these men, the majority of them, they want you miserable. They don't want to see you get ahead in life. Um, Clearly, they hate you. They're jealous of you and what you have and what you got going on. And if you have children with any of them, they will use your children as a weapon against you. Um, in a legal stance, I have heard of so many stories of women losing their children in multiple different ways behind a man. And I'm not talking about um, custody stuff. And yeah, and for custody stuff, there are men purposely out here sabotaging relationships with the children and their mother. And I've talked about that on here about how you guys are going to need to gatekeep your wounds away from a lot of these narcissistic males because a lot of them are narcissistic. A lot of these men that you're talking to, they don't respect you, they don't like you, they hate you, they want to see you fail. And this is why when you get involved in their lives or you allow them in your lives and you have things going on and these men come into your lives, they have nothing going on, they have no production going on, they're not healed, they're not trying to heal, they're not benefiting anything that you have going on because that's the key. They want to self sabotage what you have going on. And as long as they see that they can shrink you any kind of way, that is their ultimate goal. You guys have to understand that men operate on ego and pride. And as long as they're operating on ego and pride, this is how they're harvesting the energy and resources of women and on this planet. Hold on just a second, you guys. Okay, I'm back, you guys. It's constant lies and ego and pride, and these men always thinking that they have to compete with women, and it's a really sick concept. And like I said, there are just men out here who their ultimate goal is to destroy women's lives. And how dare you be successful? How dare you be successful under the patriarchal system and I'm not? This is how these men feel about successful women who are college educated and career oriented and self employed and etc. This is how they feel about women like that. And I have told you guys that you cannot afford to level down with men who cannot match where you're at on a financial level, a mental level, an emotional level, a spiritual level, like any levels. You have to completely disregard these types of men because they will come into your life and ruin you. And it is so sad what men put women through and then still want to have access to women. Like you think that this is some kind of a sport or some kind of a trophy that you're going to get at the end. And I told you guys that the patriarchal system is just nothing more but a bunch of entitled, narcissistic males who just want to have access to women to get their egos and needs met and to get, literally at this point to dominate and humble women. I mean, that's literally what men are doing. That's why I can't go along with this system at all, you guys, period. This is why Akina will always be anti patriarchal. That's right. If you're a man and you come across this channel, I am completely 110% against this system. I do not support gender based relationships. I don't support that. I don't support you men leading women anywhere. And I don't support any man who's walking around here talking about submission. I don't support that either. I do not support traditional relationships. And yeah, I do support women who get in those healthy relationships if they find a healthy mate, but I don't support none of it because I do not support anybody giving up their autonomy and free will to another human being. That's not what we're here for. And that's not what I'm here for. And I just want to be clear what's going on out here with these men and why I say the majority of them are just miserable and they're just bitter and they're jealous and they're full of enviness and they're just it's just a sad thing that men just truthfully are not happy, and most of you men are not happy people. You're not happy people. You're very mean towards women. You're not very nice. You're not nice at all, men. You're not nice. And this is why women are opting out of dealing with you. This is why women are opting out of dealing with you men. Like I have never ever legitimately ever been benefited by any of you in any kind of way. I mean, no kind of way have I ever been benefited by any of you in a way that has enhanced my life to where I'm at. If anything, I've had to constantly keep rebuilding myself after dealing with most of you. And for that, I refuse to deal with another one of you ever again. I refuse to give up my peace for any more of you men. I refuse to give up my happiness for any of you men. I just refuse to do any of it because there is no legitimate benefit in dealing with you men. None at all, period. I truthfully think women are better off by themselves and single and child free. And that is what I'm encouraging women to do. Do not have any children for the majority of you. Do not get married to the majority of you. And anytime a man is talking about marriage, ladies, run for the hills. Run for the hills. When he's talking about marriage so quick, and he's talking about submission so quick, and he's just talking about all of these things he wants you to do for him, that is an automatic red flag, especially if there is no benefit in dealing with this man, or there is no reciprocation in dealing with this man. Men who talk about that type of stuff like that up front scare me, because these men are not looking for genuine, healthy relationships with women. They're looking for what they can take from you and how you can benefit them. And relationships are not about women serving you, men. It is literally about women being taken care of by you and vice versa, because relationships are supposed to be a reciprocation. And a lot of you men do not reciprocate anything back to women. You just take from women. And it's not just sex, it's their time, it's their energy, it's their resources. And many of you are taking the lives of women. And I don't care what happens to the majority of you, because, like I keep saying, and I'll say it again, until the day that I stand on this hill here, that less of you men here would be better. Less of you here, like birth here, would make things a whole lot better for this planet. Women have got to get control of their wombs, and you have to get control of who you give your wombs to. And unfortunately, a lot of women are not going to understand that concept, because a lot of these women are just as narcissistic as the majority of these men. I once again, I don't see the benefit in dealing with most men, and I don't see why many of them are even here. And I know, Akina, that may come off kind of harsh or mean. I don't care. Do you ladies want peace, or do you want to continue to be in hell? Because if you keep dealing with these men out here, you're going to be in hell. And that's where they're going to lead the majority of you. You know as well as I know that there's way too many of them here, and they're not doing anything to better the lives of women or be productive on the planet. With all of these wars that they keep creating, and all of this violence that they keep creating, and all of the femicide that they keep invoking on women. I mean, I don't think you guys understand that men's nature is not to bring peace. Men's nature is to bring chaos. And they say that they want a woman who brings them peace, but they don't bring peace into women's lives. And it was told to me that you will never have peace in a home with a man and you in it. You will never ever have peace, ladies. So if you legitimately want peace, you have to stop birthing so many men, and you have to keep them out of your homes and out of your lives. And that's literally the only way you're going to have peace. But you living in the home with the man and dealing with the man 24/7 and getting penis from him, you're never going to have peace. Never. Never. Because men operate in a very, very low frequency. And I keep telling you, ladies, that men do not operate in the same interdimension like we do. Nope. They don't operate in that same frequency. And in order for a man to operate in the same frequency as women, he would need to be connected to himself, his his inner feminine side of him, which a lot of men are not tapped into. And he would literally need to have the components of empathy, sympathy, critical thinking skills. And a lot of these men don't have that, or emotional intelligence. Actually, my job requires that I have to have a level of emotional intelligence as well as critical thinking skills in order to work for the company that I work for. But on the contrary, no, a lot of these men don't have that. And they lack those components because these are skills that they have to develop. And a lot of men can't develop those skills because they don't have the cognitive understanding or focus to do that, or ability. It gets real deep, you guys, when you start looking at the brain of men and women. And scientists have looked at the brains of men and women. They are not the same, nowhere near the same. Men are not operating in the same time length that we are, our frequency that we're operating in, ladies. And what you're meeting out here, you're meeting under evolved males. You're meeting under evolved males who have not fully matured into men, because these men have missed a few milestones, and a lot of them are just full of mental health issues and they're batshit crazy. In other words, these men are a mess, you guys. They are a mess and they have a lot going on with them, and they are truthfully miserable. And I don't know what to tell you, ladies. But what I will say is, you're just never going to have peace in the home with the majority of these men. That's just the reality, ladies. And I really wish you ladies nothing but healing, because dealing with these men under this system will really, really ruin you. And that's what a lot of these men are doing. They're trying to ruin the lives of you multiple ways to break you down so that you can be more subjugated to submission. And I've heard of men say that. Well, I gotta get her and I gotta break her down. And what he's talking about, he needs to break you down self esteem wise and confidence wise. And some of these men will actually break you down sexually through coercion and sexual abuse. And this is their way to conquer the majority of you. And that's why I say that men are not out here dating women based upon love. They're dating women based upon coercion and abuse and tactics, and they're thinking that this is some kind of a game to get out here and play with women's feelings and hearts and emotions, and all of the manipulation and love bombing and gaslighting that you men do. Women are now waking up to that bullshit, and we're no longer playing these games with you. And you're being left on red, you're being left on block. You're literally being blocked, men. You're being blocked because playing these little games with you, these little mind games that you men love to play with women, it's not going to get you anywhere. Women are tired of the mind games and the bullshit that you men come with, and you men better be careful with that. You better be real careful with that because there are women out here who can play the game better than you can, and there are women out here who will absolutely mess you up if you continue to play with them like that. And for me, I rather just not be on the playing board at all. I rather just remove myself out of the situation for my own peace of mind and serenity because I don't play with men. I don't play games with men. And I don't need men playing these little games with me. And a lot of them do play these little mind games because they don't know any other way how to get close to women other than through manipulation. And a lot of them do manipulate women. And a lot of you have been love bombed by these narcissistic men. And a lot of these men are energy vampires. They just create emotional and mental chaos just to get a response from you. And that's what narcissistic do. And I know I've talked about narcissistic people, but a lot of them they create chaos just so that they can get a reaction from you and to feed off of your energy. Yeah. That's what narcissistic people do. So there are men out here who purposely love to see women fight and bicker amongst each other behind them. And there are men out here who purposely create chaos in women's lives so that they can see you suffer. Because a lot of these men are they're not only narcissistic, they're sadistic. They're sadistic, and sadistic types of people feed off of pain. So these men want to see you suffering. They want you in poverty. They don't want you from rags to riches, baby. They don't want you to have anything or be successful under the system. They damn sure don't want you to have a house or a car. There are men out here who will move in a woman's house and destroy her home just to say that he destroyed her home and took everything from her. There are men out here who are trying to take the children from their mother because when these men feel like they're losing control of these women that they once had control over, they get very, very calculated. They will take the children from the mother. Anything to infuse and inflict pain and conflict. You men are just God. I don't even want to say anything. You guys. I'm trying to be nice, and men have the audacity to ask women, "Why do you hate us?" You men, the majority of you are just the scum of the earth. I'm just you were born out of Satan's asshole. The majority of you. And I can't stand the majority of you. I can't stand the majority of you. I can't. I can't stomach the majority of you. When I look at the majority of you men, I want to vomit. That's how I feel about the majority of you men. That less of you here would make things a whole lot better for women and their children. Yeah, for women and their children and everything else. But you men are just a burden. You are a thorn in women's lives. And my daughter's therapist came by here yesterday and she wanted to do her little analysis on my ex-husband. And she said, Miss she called me by my legal name, but she said, Miss Akina, baby, you got a thorn in your life. You got a thorn in your life with this man. This man here is a piece of work. That's what she said about my ex-husband. And she said, if I were you, I would keep him very far away from you as possible. I would keep him far away from you as possible. Because this man is just a thorn. And she said that he terrifies her with his mentality and his demeanor. And she said that he is not somebody that I like. I said, well, join the crowd. Join the crowd. Join the crowd. I tolerate my ex-husband, but no, I don't like him. She says he is really, really a piece of work, and he's really, really messed up. I says, I know. And I keep telling you, ladies, that these men are just, they're messed up mentally and psychologically. So, baby, Akina doesn't do anything unless there are legal grounds in place. And the amount of chaos that this man brings is crazy work, especially with me in the legal system, you guys. You guys, I've been to court so many times behind this man. I know every goddamn judge that there is in Baton Rouge. And if you were to bring me up to the courthouse in Baton Rouge, they would know me by name and face because I know all of the deputies, I know all of the judges, I know all of the damn lawyers down there. I literally have a communication with the legal system because I'm constantly in the courtrooms all the time standing before judges. And yesterday I was sitting in my living room and the deputy came up and he knocked on the door and asked for me and I signed and he served me my legal papers. Because yes, me and my ex-husband, we have to go back to court yet again, back in court before the judge. And this is what these men constantly do. They just drag women to court. We're going to be standing right before the same goddamn judge that we were standing before 15 years ago. And it's just a constant chaos. It's just a constant chaos that these men bring all day, every day. It's sad. It's sad how miserable and loser types you men are. But for my daughter's therapist, because I had to sign something when she came by here and she wanted to meet my kids, she said for the mere fact that she gave me some warnings of what I needed to do, right, to protect me and my children. And she says, Miss Akina, everything you're doing is correct and how you're even dealing with this man. She says, I just don't see how his current wife can put up with him. I says, honey, I'm just glad I'm not in the bed with him and it's her. And some of you women who you think you're winning something by getting somebody else's husband, baby, you're getting the burden that we left behind. And I am just grateful that I got out of the marriage that I did because I told you guys that I truthfully think that this current wife of my ex-husband is a placeholder. And this is what men do when they feel like, they want to feel like they're winning. Yeah, I'm going to go get with the young Bastarista. We don't care, men. We do not care that you're getting with these young women. Go ruin their lives instead of harboring our lives. And I hate to throw you younger women under the bus, but when we older women get on here and we warn you about these men, you say that we're bitter and we don't know what we're talking about. Honey, we've been out here. We used to be you at 22, 23, 24, and 25. I used to be the 19-year-old who thought that I had it all figured out, even 18 and 17. None of you can tell us older women about shit about these men. And when older women are on here warning you about these men, we're warning you about these men because we have dealt with these men that you're dealing with. Baby, you're just getting the recycled versions. That's all you're getting because these men just reinvent themselves every so many months and that's what vampires do. When they need a new recycle, when they need a new recycle, they just reinvent themselves. They reinvent themselves and they just go on and they redo the cycle all over again by robbing the youth of you younger women. And that's all they're doing. And you think you're winning something by getting with somebody's husband. So this young girl thinks she's winning. She's not winning because you got to keep being drugged in court each and every time because my ex-husband can't focus on his life. My ex-husband can't focus on his wife because he's so busy focused on me and my life. That doesn't sound like a happy marriage. That sounds like a miserable man who's in a marriage that he had no choice but to settle in. And he didn't settle in this marriage based upon healing and being healed for this woman. He settled in this marriage with this woman as a way, because some of you men, you can't be happy by yourself. And my ex-husband is definitely miserable. How dare Akina gets out here and has a business in her name, Akina's Garden Healing, and how dare she be interdependent and have independence and have freedom without me? How dare she not need my money? That's how you men feel about women who don't need you. I don't care what you men want. I'm just grateful that somebody picked up the tab for me and they thought that they were winning something. You men have to understand that there are women out here like myself who always have jokers in the deck. And every now and then I will slip a joker on that table. Because you cannot knock a successful, intelligent, confident queen off of her throne, men. And that's what you men try to do. When you see that women are getting ahead above you, it bothers you when you see a woman who could be above you, where she can walk around in her heels and femininity and still operate in her masculine energy without you. And I am one of those women who can do that because I operate in both energies, masculine and feminine. And I will always show up in my deck as either the Queen of Pentacles or the King of Pentacles. That's right. Always show up in any readings that get done like that. 9 times out of 10, I always show up as the Queen of Pentacles when I'm doing tarots on myself. But you men are definitely, definitely a piece of work. And that's what my daughter's therapist says. You really, really are dealing with a piece of work. And I know exactly what she meant. She says he's really, 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 really messed up. He's really messed up. He got a lot going on. I says, and I knew exactly what she meant, and she could see straight through him. She says, very, 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 very manipulative. Very, very manipulative. Will twist any and everything around to fit his narrative to use it as a weapon against me. Isn't that what you men do to women? Isn't that what the majority of you do towards women? Yeah. Ladies, be safe out here. Because we're really, really dealing with something here with these men. And I don't think you guys understand what we're dealing with here. And if I knew what I know now about men, I would have never ever dealt with a man in my life. Ever. I would have never had my kids or got married. And I absolutely love my children. But dealing with these men, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They are truthfully masters of deception, lies, and chaos. And this is what you're seeing from these men who are wailing and complaining and weeping and wooing. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And I have men tell me, you just don't care. I don't care. I don't care. They think it's a challenge that I don't care. And I'm not bothered by their tactics. They just think it is. And I have the facts. And the facts of the matter is You men, most of you operate on ego and pride. You're narcissistic. You're toxic. You're just no good for women. But women, you're just no good for women and their well being. And anything that does not make Akina feel good, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta get cut off. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't care what you're talking about. None of that. And I just need you ladies to understand what we're dealing with here with these men. And I'm not saying that it's all of them, but the majority of these men just don't mean you no good. Just a mere fact, like I said, my daughter's therapist sharing that information, it lets me know how she sees him from the outside looking in. You know, so there are men out here who will spiritually cock block you as well. Um, they don't want to see you get ahead. A lot of these men are your karmics. They're not meant to move forward with you in your life, and they're just meant to cross paths with you. And you are supposed to learn the lesson and go on. And I do believe that that experience is that of my ex husband and I. He was a karmic, a lesson from a past life, and that's all he's ever going to be. We're not meant to reconnect in this lifetime or any other lifetimes. And this, like I said, this man here is definitely a karmic. He is a karmic lesson. He has become so obsessed with me. It's cringe. And when I say obsessed with me, the constant interference in my life when you're married and you're a married man, yeah, you can't focus on your own happiness and your own life and success. Yeah, these types of men are dangerous, you guys, and very calculated. Men are very calculated when necessary. I have to move a certain type of way when it comes to my ex husband, and I'm typically moving sideways, dealing with him rather than front to back because I just never let my right hand know what my left hand is doing, and I'm always moving and shifting things. And he just doesn't understand how I can move the way that I can because Akina is always going to be the magician. And what Akina wants to manifest and create, I can and will. It's an amazing technique. You ladies be safe out here. Akina's going to be safe out here. I was going to go to work today. You guys know that I was off Tuesday and Wednesday and couldn't log in for work because I had to downsize my device for work. And it did come, and I have that device. And I started back working on Thursday, and then I went to work yesterday, and that was great. So I did manage to clock in some hours this week, and I would have had the whole 5 hours this week, but that didn't work out. And beyond that, I did manage to clock in, you guys, to get some hours in. I know next week, the upcoming week here, I'm going to be real busy with time and stuff and my hours and getting some time and stuff in. Probably 2 hours starting next week. And it's gonna be real busy, real busy, real busy. I think time goes in today. No, actually, it goes in on Monday or Tuesday. Um, so um, yeah, I'm probably just going to I'm just gonna take off the next day or two to just kind of relax. You know, the weekend here, and I typically don't work on the weekends, but only time I have to work on the weekends is when I have to put in more time. And my company is requiring that 10 hours minimum, so I am going to have to put in some extra time the upcoming week here. So just getting the footing going, and I knew that was going to take a little minute, a couple of weeks to get everything situated. So everything is situated now, and it's just a matter of getting that extra time in. Now, what I may do, I may just take off today, and then um, tomorrow, just clock in for work and put an extra hour in tomorrow. We shall see. We shall see how everything plays out with that. Um, but I do have to take little moments here and there just to recharge. So I have nothing going on the weekend. I'm just gonna use today to relax, and then tomorrow I'll probably reclock back in and get back on the clock again and do what needs to be done. So that'll be tomorrow. But anyways, I just wanted to get on here and share some things with you guys. You guys definitely take care and have a good weekend. I know that I am. And I will definitely see you guys in the next one. I really don't want to make any promises that it's gonna be next week, depending on what time I get off. I just know that I'm gonna be busy um the upcoming week with some tasks. I actually have to figure out a schedule for that. Um I actually have to figure out a schedule, you guys, how I'm gonna get in my 2 hours of video production starting next week. Because like I said, that is the requirement of the job. They did tell us we didn't have to do 10 hours a week, just get some hours in. And I try to keep it between 5 to 6 hours, at least 5 to 7 hours a week. Because that can be some heavy stuff, trying to get 10 hours of video production in. It damn near takes me half of the whole day to get 1 hour of video production in. So me trying to get in that extra hour of video production, it can get a bit challenging. Okay. I'm gonna shoot for it next week. I need to come up with the schedule and pretty much just kind of go from there. And once I have the rhythm of that,
then I can just move forward and get it on out the way and do this and that. So I'm not gonna make any promises that it's definitely going to be going back on here live again the upcoming week. I'm not gonna make any promises there. And I know going into the end of the month, I'm gonna be real busy before the 4th of July. So I definitely wanted to, you know, kind of go ahead and go live with you guys before then. So I will be moving forward, you guys, um, with some housing stuff towards the end of the month. That is the plan, and moving forward and being done here with my family and moving forward, and being that I had just started working for this company, I wanted to get some footing in before we leave, just to kind of get the feel of pay periods and things like that. And then not only that, I had to clear up some stuff with the state office and all this legal stuff before we leave, because I don't want to have to deal with any kind of financial roadblocks, especially while transitioning and things like that. So I had to get some stuff cleared up. I had to get some stuff cleared up, and everything's kind of flowing the way that it needs to be flowing right now. The legal stuff is the last thing that I need to deal with. It's literally the last thing I need to deal with before, we leave here. Um, and unfortunately, as I'm transitioning into my new home, I'm still gonna have the legal stuff going on, and I can't prolong here until August, because that's the month that my court date is coming up for. You know, I can't prolong there and linger here. It's kind of one of those things I got to move forward, but I had to clear up some stuff on the back end with the state system, um, because there was just so much going on and the chaos that my ex has created that I'm still untangling myself from. And it's not just with the state and the legal stuff, you guys. I had to clear up some stuff with my bank, and it's just he's taken a hit on a couple of things due to his chaos and all this legal shit he has us in now. And it's this is what these men do, man. They just create drama and chaos everywhere they go, and that chaos just starts to impact everything that's going on. But I'm always going to be on top. I'm always going to overpower what he's doing, because the universe favors me. But not only that, Akina's always going to manifest what she wants. So while he thought he was hurting me in some kind of way financially, he really didn't. He just really opened up a door for me to just keep moving forward and to be successful, even in my own career. And that's why I'm so determined and so motivated to keep moving forward from here. And it's just all leading me to where I need to be. And I'm so grateful to be working for the company that I work for, because this company has opened me up to other doors of opportunities within the company itself. So I may be taking on another gig, you guys, through this company, another project. This project that I'm under is going to continue on for at least 3 to 4 months. And outside of that, I'll be ready to move forward into another bigger project. Because that's the thing about this company. When one project closes, it pushes you to another project within the company that you may qualify more for with your skills and things like that. So I am certified officially. I got my certification 2 days ago from Micro One, and it feels really good to work for this company. So I probably will be taking up another little gig, you guys. I may be taking up another little gig through this company, and moving forward, where I want to be within this company and where the company wants me to be, based upon my success and what I'm offering to the company. And they absolutely love me, you guys. They love me working on the project that I'm working on. They love the work that I'm doing. I am so happy. And it's just nothing but success and opportunity for me here on out. And that's the plan. So I'm gonna get off of here, you guys. I feel like cooking breakfast. I feel like cooking pancakes and eggs for some reason. So I need to send to the store to get some pancake mix, some other things from the store, and I just wanted to get on here to just let you guys know, you need to protect not only your finances and resources, please protect your peace from these toxic ass men. Keep these toxic ass men out of your life. These men who have nothing going on and can't benefit you, let them go. Let them go. Let them go. They're not putting in the effort, the time, or the consistency, or can't provide. There's no need of having these men around. Meditation has always been my to go thing. I would, and for even for me, and when I do get off of here, I do have my clear quartz crystal. I will be meditating today and clearing out some energy and rebalancing myself. And I use that clear quartz crystal like an eraser. So anything that just does not serve me and does not mean me any good, I banish it out of my life. And I use my crystals to rebalance everything and for clarity and understanding. And since I've had it, I've been using it for meditation purposes and for the job. I use it for my job as well, for protection. A lot of people just don't want to see you make it, ladies. And these men are your enemies for real. Your family and your friends can be your enemy, but these men are definitely your enemy. They are the ops, and they don't want to see you make it. There are people literally out here wishing and praying that you will fail and not make it. And I have family members who have wished nothing but bad luck on me. And it's sad how miserable and jealous and envious family can be when they're supposed to be your support system. These men that you're in bed with are supposed to be your support system. And here these men are praying and wishing nothing but bad luck on you and creating chaos in your life. Please protect yourself, ladies. Do not tell these men how much money you make. Do not go into details about your job. I don't discuss any of that with these men. Keep your financial business to yourself. Please protect your resources and your finances from these men. They don't want to see you be happy. They're not happy. They don't want you happy. They don't want you to be successful. They want you to be miserable just like them. And it is a sad reality for a lot of men. This is how we're dealing with something demonic and spiritual here. I do not regret not having a man. I do not care to have one. And if I'm going to deal with one, he needs to make my life better than what the fuck I'm doing for me and my children. And I mean that on everything I love. And it's about matching energy, ladies. And if these men cannot match where you're at and what you got going on, they're not worth it. And a lot of you men are not worth what you're talking about and what you're offering to women. You're not worth it. Just for the fact that my therapist saying that my ex husband is a thorn, that says everything I need to know about how to deal with him moving forward. How do you deal with somebody who's a thorn in your life? Gray rock to limited no contact. And that's exactly what I give my ex husband. Ever since he had those experiences with my cats, I don't know, something spiritually has happened to this man. And even beyond that, I think with him watching me grow and evolve into the woman that I am right now, it bothers him that I don't need him. It infuriates him that I don't need his money. I don't need his sex. I don't need anything from this man. And yet he is married with a wife and can't focus on the wife that he has. And I see some very strange things within their marriage that just makes me go, like, I always see him come up here to pick up our kids, right? And she's always in the back seat. And I'm like, why is this married woman always in the fucking back seat? When I was married to him, I sat in the front seat. He doesn't allow anyone in the front seat with him. His wife, the current wife he's with, she has to sit in the back seat. And I asked her, why are you sitting back here? Oh, it's because, I don't want to say my ex husband's name. He has the window down and all that wind, it just makes it hard for me to breathe. No, 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 no. No. I think there's something going on within that marriage, you guys. I think there's some abuse going on, controlling going on. I think that's what's going on. Um, but hey, it's not my problem, I just and in a way it is because our children are involved, but I honestly think that she's starting to wake up to who her husband is. Hopefully one day he becomes her ex-husband too. But yeah, she has to deal with all of that. I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I don't have to deal with none of it. It's an amazing feeling when I don't have to deal with him, you guys. Other than to exchange the kids, and I'm really not dealing with him because they're big enough to walk out to the car, get in the car, and come back. Come get out of the car. But it's a sad reality. But just the mere fact that this is how miserable a lot of these men are. It's crazy work. It is crazy work when you really look at the mentality of these guys. But just for my therapist to say he is a thorn, he is a piece of work, he's really, really messed up, he has a lot going on. I pay attention to those little subliminal messages because it tells me everything that I need to know and how to deal with my ex husband. And for situations like that, not dealing with these men at all is best, and keeping your distance is best. But I'm gonna get off of here. My kids don't know that I'm gonna cook them pancakes and eggs. Yes, I'm gonna cook them pancakes and eggs this morning, and I want to make up the pancakes. I don't want the store bought pancakes. Um, so I'm going to go and get the stuff from the store, and I need to send to the store to get some stuff anyway. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Akina's gonna be busy next week with some projects and stuff for the job, and hopefully you guys have a good day. Take care. Be safe. Um, I need to water my plants. They're sprouting, you guys. I'm actually gonna take a picture of them and where they're at, and I mean they're growing, they're sprouting up, and I have some more seeds and garden soil. I'm gonna continue, and I think you guys need to get accustomed to gardening, especially with this inflation and stuff going on, and how expensive things are getting to grow. And I'm gonna get those plastic storage containers and get my garden and stuff going. I have to drill some holes in the bottom of the containers for the drainage and stuff, and um kind of get that system set up. I know that Walmart has these plastic containers, and I'm gonna get them, like the little shoebox size containers, and I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom of that, at least three of them, and you know, put my soul in there and, kind of get the process going so that I can continue gardening and doing what I need to do. So there's just a lot I'm doing, you guys, and I love gardening. But yeah, let me go water my babies. I got three of them going. Let me go water them and feed them for the day. And yeah, you guys take care. Have a good weekend, and I will see you guys maybe later next week. Maybe Friday when I'm off again. Well, I'll be working Friday, but when I get off. So you guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.